Glad to have you join us now. Let's turn our attention now. Breaking as President Muhammadu Buhari signed 21.8 trillion 2023 budget into law. Recall last week the Senate and the House of Representatives passed the 2023 appropriation bill after raising the 20.51 trillion proposed spending presented by President Buhari by 1.32 trillion naira to 21.82 trillion naira. The budget passage followed the consideration and approval of the report of the both chambers committees on appropriation bill. Now let's break it down now. So take a look at the expectations as President Muhammadu Buhari signs budget into law. Let's bring in our guest right now as we explore the implication, of course, expectations of these on the economy. A guest joins us now. Oladipo Ajayi, Head Fixed Income, Chapel Hill, Denham, joins us virtually now. Thank you for joining us and good to see you. Compliment of the season.
Hey, good morning. Thank you for having me on this morning.
Yeah, thank you once again and Happy New Year. Talk to us. It's just coming to us now that President Muhammadu Buhari just has signed into law the 2023 budget. That's about 21.8 trillion naira. How is it coming across to you?
Well, for me, I think that's a very aggressive budget from my side because initially when the budget submitted by the executive to the legislative guide was about 20.5 trillion. But the signed budget now is 21.8 trillion after the adjustment from the Senate and the House of Rep members. And I think it's on the high side because looking at some metrics that they actually adjusted, adjusting oil benchmark to $75 from $70. I think it's a huge one for me, knowing fully well that a report released by IMF shows that 1/3 of the global economy will be in recession in 2023. And that tells you that the impact of that is that that will likely affect the oil price. So that also means that there's a tendency that we might actually see oil price going below $75. So $75 as a benchmark for oil price for 2023 is a huge one for me. And also the 21.8 trillion, I think is a big tax for the government.
Big task indeed for the government. So talk to us, what is likely to change? And before now, we look at how much was budgeted for the Ministry of Defense, the Works and Housing, and that was before the spending was raised by 1.32 trillion last week by the National Assembly. Now, with that seems to have been approved as well, with the spending being raised. So talk to us, what is likely to change? How is this likely to impact every sector of the economy? And in terms of adjustment by businesses, investors, speak to this.
I think the one that gladdens my heart most is for capital projects. That was moved from 5.35 to about close to about 6 trillion. Because sincerely speaking, if we actually want to develop the economy aggressively, we need to actually improve the infrastructural development in the country. And I see that the National Assembly also felt the same thing. And that's one of the reasons why they have decided to actually increase that by close to about 600 million. And also, if you look at the statutory transfer also, it was moved from 744 billion to about 967 billion. And if you actually break these down, you know that under this subheading, that you have the emoluments for the National Assemblies and other compensation for the National Assembly, transfer to the judiciary and all those things are what lumps together to come to what we call statutory transfer. And if you have moved statutory transfer by close to about 220 billion, I feel that it's for me, because it means that it's more like more of compensation than development. It's more of remuneration than development for me. So I don't see that. I don't see any impact, any reasonable impact on that segment of increase. And if you look at the recurrent and non-debt, which is more like personnel cost, that was marginally moved from 8.27 trillion to about 8.3, which is still same thing, not much movement. But when you look at our debt servicing, it was moved from about 6.31 to about 6.55. And when you break our debt servicing cost, when you break it down, it shows the part that actually we need to use to fund to service our foreign loan, domestic loans, and also the part that was earmarked to actually service the ways and means that the federal government actually took from the Central Bank of Nigeria.
But let's look at this from the perspective of when you talk about the fact that the government is perhaps not ready. It looks like from your analysis you're saying that we're not going to see much of development except for recurrent expenditure in the year. Some people say if you want to see the economy grow, you need to empower citizens, pay salary, and all that. How do you think? I mean, what change in terms of impact on the life and well-being of Nigerian will that make? When you look at the fact that the recurrent expenditure is high, and that means that more people are ready to take money, to be paid, and that means that we're going to see more money flood the economy as well.
Yeah, you just said that, when you compare to what we actually had last year, our recurring expenditure was around not of 6 trillion. But when you're looking at this year, we're having about 8.3 trillion. It tells a story already by itself. And also, when you now marry this with a statement made by the Minister of Labour, Ingege, that the government is looking at actually increasing the salary of government workers, it tells you that truly this makes a lot of sense now, because when you look at what was budgeted for last year and what we are budgeting for this year, it corresponds with the statement that there's every likelihood that there will be improved in salaries to government workers for the year. And you and I know that just like what you said, that will be used to actually oil the economy, because it means that people will consume more. It means that product company will need to increase production capacity. It means that company will need to employ people to actually meet their production demand. As a result of that, that will further actually improve the level of activity in the economy. And also, when we look at the other side of it, is that it could also fuel inflationary pressures. You and I know that when you consume, yes, to do is that for that note.
Now, let's focus on the deficit now, and of course the debt servicing now. Now, the figure before me shows that the government is budgeting about 6.6 trillion naira for debt servicing alone in 2023 appropriation bill. Talk to us, because we know that there have been challenges with the government with regards to their revenue drive. They also made mention of the fact that there's a decline in crude oil production, and that also impacted the oil revenue as well. How do you think the government will be able to fix the deficit, and of course will be able to also address the gap in the debt servicing in 2023?
So if you look at the initial budget that was presented to the House, our deficit is north of 10 trillion. And it simply means that will actually be reached to the local markets. Knowing fully well currently that the international market is not that attractive now for anybody to actually access funds. And also the Fed is not in any way looking at stopping rate hike anytime soon. And we also know that what that means is that the cost of borrowing will further increase in the year. And the Minister of State Finance has also mentioned that they will be looking locally to actually raise most of the funds in the local market. And the implication of that is that we will likely see the government actually crowding out the local markets. And that will make it very difficult for other corporates to actually raise funds in the local market. any corporate that actually wants to compete with the government will be ready to actually pay premium. We all know that we invest in for corporate investors, they pay a withholding tax of 10% on whatever they are earning from corporate investments. And when you compare that with the federal government, it means that they will need to actually pay premium to augment that shortfall. And also, if you look at oil price, like I mentioned earlier on, I don't see a situation whereby we will get to see a $75 all through the year. I see a situation whereby there will be a volatile oil price in the market, and that means that what that will simply means is that we may have a shortfall in what we have budgeted to actually receive from oil revenue in the year, and we all know that how that will impact the budget. If you look at it, we take credence for what happened last year. In a situation whereby for a better part of last year, we weren't getting any accretion from oil revenue into the federation account. So it tells a story that this year we need to be more aggressive at actually improving production. And the daily production was pegged at 1.69 barrels. That's as good as saying 1.7 million per day. And for now, we are just getting close to that. And I think the government also needs to ramp up the activity in the south to actually find a way to actually push to stop the aggressive oil theft in that region, so that we can actually return to about 1.8 million barrels that's actually allocated to us. So looking at this, it tells us that the government will need to borrow aggressively on the market. And when you look at our current standing in terms of cost of debt to revenue, I think if we continue to borrow at a high level, get to a point where our revenue will involve our cost of servicing our debts.
So talk to us about the implication of borrowing more in 2023 by the government on the economy, especially how will that impact on the purchasing power, the earning power of average Nigerian? Because if the government borrows more, there should be an implication to this, isn't it?
So if the government borrows more, the implication is vectors and this positive implication. So it means that the government will actually have to borrow at a high level in the market. So it means that people that can actually position to actually invest in government instruments at a better return than what is actually applicable last year. And what that will mean to people is that more income in forms of investment income to them. And at the same time, you and I know that government risk instruments.
Hello, Mr. Aladipo. Yeah. Please continue on that thought. Can you hear me? I think Mr. Oladipo is trying to explain the impact and implication of the government borrowing more, and it means that there will be an impact. Nigerians will feel that impact in their pocket in the coming year. So if you are there, please talk to us. Continue on that thought, please.
So like I was mentioning, I said it's going to be a positive impact for people that are ready to invest in government instruments.
Okay.
So they are going to get better return on their investment compared to what they actually got last year. Because it means that when the government is aggressively borrowing the market, rates will go up, and the impact of that people that are investing will get a better return. But on the flip side of it is that people that have to borrow from the bank will likely have to pay out of pocket, because it simply means that we will likely see rates actually going up for people that actually want to borrow.
Okay. Before we wrap up, I want us to look at how you think investors will position, perhaps reevaluate their portfolio, working with these numbers or this budget that we have in 2023. What is likely to change in terms of decision, reevaluation of their portfolio, companies trying to reevaluate their asset, or perhaps reposition for better operations in 2023?
Yeah, for me, I think any company that is actually coming to the market to actually raise, we have to do it in the post. it is very, very necessary that we take advantage of the first quarter. Because going into the other part of the year, there's every tendency that we'll likely see rates going further. Inflation is not in any way receding as we speak. So what that simply means is that we may likely see more rate hike in this year. When you see more rate hikes, what that will mean is that the cost of borrowing will have to go up. So as a result of that, companies will have, the smart companies need to actually take advantage of the Q1 when the economy is just kickstarting for the year, and they quickly lock in whatever fundraising they need to do, whether they want to do a bond issuance or they want to do a commercial paper issuance. This is the best time for them to actually come to the market and to do what they want, what they need to do before rates start going aggressively upside. So, and for investors as well, it's a very good year for investors because looking at government raising close to 10 trillion on the market, it means that rates and yield will go up for any investors. So it's an opportunity for investors to actually restructure their portfolio by moving to a more compensating investment that government will be rolling out this year in form of bonds, in form of.
Do we still have you, Mr. Oladipo? I guess we're having issues, connecting with Mr. Oladipo, trying to explain what companies or decisions, or what will inform the decisions of companies with regards to their portfolio and reevaluation of their asset as well. Perhaps that again, it's a game changer in the market in 2023. Are you there? I need you to quickly, finish on that thought so that we can wrap up here. Well, I'm sure that Mr. we lost a connection with Mr. Oladipo there, who was trying to give us, just a snapshot of what is to be expected with regards to companies' decision and the investment, trying to, reposition their portfolio in 2023. So let's quickly wrap it up now. Your final thought on what is likely to change in 2023? What should we expect? With regards to this new signing of the budget of 2023 budget. Talk to us now.
Well, our 2023 budget, like I mentioned, it's a very aggressive budget, and when you look at capital, I think every household will feel the impact by the end of the year if they actually fully implement that this in the map by year end, because it means that development in the economy that will support growth, that will create employment, that will create consumption, and that will help companies to actually.
Oh my goodness! Perhaps it's a good time to really leave the conversation here. Apologies, we just can't, continue anymore. Thank you so much, Mr. Oladipo Ajayi. Is the head of fixed income, Chapel Hill, Denham. Thank you for your time on Business Breakfast.
You're welcome.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Well, we'll take a break now. When we return, of course, we look at turn attention to other conversation here as analysts decry the high, food prices and, of course, the weakening of Naira. Well, that's our focus after this break. Please stay with us.